the recording then.
Okay, you got me on. Okay, that's wonderful. Let me firstly, we read just a little Devar Torah. This week we're going to read from two Sefer Torah. It's a special Shabbat. From the first one, we read from the third book of the Chumash, Parashas Vayikra, because that is the Sedra that we're going to be reading this week. And the second Sefer, we will be reading from Parashas Ki Teitzei, where we read about Amalek. And we are enjoined, according to the Torah, to Zachor, to remember how the Amalek, they attacked the Bnei Yisrael as they came out of Egypt. This is a mitzvah aseh. This is a positive commandment. And we are commanded to not only remember, but Lo tishkach, do not forget. And there is a negative prohibition associated with this mitzvah as well. And we do this by reading this little small parasha of 3 verses where we are told to keep this command one time a year. And that is read every single year on the Shabbat before Purim, Vayikra Zachor, right? And of course, it has a special connection because Haman, who is the main part of the story of the Megillat Esther, was a descendant of Agagi, who was known as an Amalekite. So he was a descendant of that. And he, like his ancestors before him, wanted to destroy the Bnei Yisrael, men, women, and children, as we read in the Megillah. Indeed, if you read the small portion of Ki Teitzei, you will see that the character of Amalek was that they would attack Bnei Yisrael from behind, with no regard for the stragglers, for the men, for the women, and the children. All were worthy bait for the Amalekites, because the Amalekites had no scruples. And it sounds familiar, doesn't it, to a certain degree about what's happening today in Ukraine, if you think about it. In recent years, people have tried to identify modern day Amalekites. They, those who are committed to annihilate the Jewish people with no sense of right or wrong. You could say that the Nazis were modern day Amalekites, and a lot of people make that connection. But the truth is, the Gemara has already spoken about this, and they say that you cannot identify modern day Amalek because in the 7th century BCE, the Assyrian king Sennacherib, he came, he conquered the Holy Land, and he took all the indigenous people who were there of the land, and they were uprooted and became unidentifiable apart from the Jews, funny enough, because they were able to keep their traditions, they were able to keep their ways. And since Amalek is a specific people and a race, we are unable to identify and to say who is Amalek today. We don't know. But on a spiritual level, our rabbis speak about the modern day Amalek, who is within us, every single one of us. Remember what Amalek tried to do. Here they were, the Bnei Israel, were on the way to be Makabel the Torah, to receive the Torah at Sinai. That's where it happened. It happened in a place called Refidim. The next stop would be Mount Sinai. And the Amalekites were on the way, and they were in the way. Asher Kol Chabaderech, who happened to meet them by the way, and our rabbis say that that word Kalcha comes from Lashon Kar, which means cold and doubt. We have to eradicate the coldness of Amalek from our midst. And it symbolizes the lack of warmth and enthusiasm in our Judaism. Zachor, remember. Lo tishkach, don't forget. Over to you, Morris.
Thank you, Rabbi. Thank you. Yesterday was the 7th of Adar, and the date of the annual Chevra Kedusha Suda. The Chevra Kedusha, the Holy Society, was one of the first associations to be established in traditional Jewish communities in the past. Membership of the Vayikra Zachor has always been considered a unique privilege. Just one moment. I need to adjust something here. There we go. The Chevra Kedusha was already known in Talmudic times. Even scholars and sages did not consider it beneath their dignity to become members. Rabbi Eliezer Ashkenazi in Prague in 1564 laid a foundation for an efficient burial society that became a model for all similar bodies. During the Middle Ages, it became customary for the Chevra Kedusha to devote one day each year to fasting and prayer. At the close of this day, which was usually held on the 7th of Adar, the date of Moses' death, a Suda, festive meal, was organized for them. This is regarded as one of the most important occasions of the community. As one would expect, one at which Divrei Torah were delivered. This year, it was delivered by our guest of honor, Chief Rabbi Mervis. The term Chevra Kedusha is Aramaic and means a holy brotherhood. Although the Chevra was generally understood to be more of a secret society than a holy society, it also became one of the most respected and honored groups in European Jewish communities. Today, some of the historic secrecy continues to surround both the society's work and the Chevra members. It was customary for membership to run in families, to pass from father to son to grandson, and similarly for mother to daughter to granddaughter. Chevra customs have been transmitted by word of mouth from generation to generation. While customs may have been consistent with a particular time and with a particular community, customs do frequently vary in detail from community to community and from time to time. While known in Talmudic times, we think Chevra Kedusha rose again in Spain at the beginning of the 14th century. The Chevra Kedusha is also understood in the sense of a brotherhood, which took upon itself the sacred duty of providing for the burial of all members of the community. However, it is not known in Ashkenazi Europe before the 16th century. It is not known if this is a matter of non-existence of the Chevra Kedusha or the lack of found written recordings or other evidence of such chevrot. Chevra Kedusha is unique to the Jewish community. It derives from the fact that according to Jewish law, no material benefit may accrue from the dead. As a result, no private or commercial firm is permitted to engage in work for private gain. Such duty must thus become a function of the community as a whole. Zayin Adar, the 7th of Adar, is the traditional day of the birth and death of Moshe Rabbeinu. On this day, the Chevra Kedusha fast to atone for and to expiate any inadvertent disrespect shown to the dead, and recite a special order of slichot. There is also a special Torah reading in the memory of Moshe Rabbeinu. Members of the Chevra do their work unthanked by the recipient as a communal service that is largely unacknowledged by the community. Thank you for listening. I wish you all Shabbat Shalom.
Wow, thank you so much for that. Thank you, Morris. That was really good. And it was good to hear a little bit about the work of the Chevra Kedusha. I just want to point out one thing on that. Oh, I've gone. Oh, you've gone in. Lee, are you going to speak now? Lee? Oh, no. Let me just no. The interesting thing that you mentioned there, Morris, is that it comes from the 14th century, whereas in the Yukum Palkom that we recite every single Shabbos, it speaks about giving a bracha for all the people. It says Chavurasat Kadisha Sa, which is the Chevra Kedusha, right? And the Yukum Palkom, you can trace it back to the 10th century. So that'll be interesting to have a look at that.
Well, I did say it was known in Talmudic times.
Yeah. But it's actually the bracha that we give it. Interesting. Yeah, it's just interesting. No, I just wanted to. Yeah, no, I wasn't picking you up. I wasn't. No defense. Don't worry. But it's just an interesting thing that I lost. But have a look it up. Actually, it'd be interesting to see what was meant by those words. Interesting to have a look over there. Okay, let's have a look at our I'll screen share. Yes, is that okay, Maurice? Can I do that?
Yeah, carry on.
Okay, thank you very much. Can you still see me? I can't see myself.
I can see you.
Let me just show video panel. There we are. Everybody's in. We're going to start from Yedid Nefesh. Please follow in as we do this together. If you have a siddur at home, please look it up on your siddur. Yedid Nefesh Aforachamon Meshoich Avtecho Eretz Oynecho Yadot Avtecho Kemo Ayal Yishtachave Amol Hadadanecha Yeravlo Yedidoisecha Mino Fetzof V'chol To'am Adonai Ziv Ha'elam Nafshi Choilas Ahavot Secha Ana Elena Rufana La Sahara Isla No Amzivecha Astis Chazek Vesis Rape Vahayesala Simcha Soilam Asik Yemuno Rachamecha V'chusana Abeinahu Becha Ki Zekamo Nichsoif Nichsati Lilos Besiferes Uzecha Ein Lechamda Chamda Libi V'chusana Ve'altis Salam Igaleno Ufalois Chavivi Olai Etzukas Shaloi Mecha Ta'yeretz Mikvoidecha Nagila Benismachava Mahehov Kiva Moed V'chaneyanu Kimei Olam Didi la ya 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 Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama Yadida mama Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama Ya yadida ya ya Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama Ya yadida dai dai Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama Didi yamma mama mama Nai, 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 nai. Didi namma, didi nai, 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 nai. Didi namma, didi nai, nai, nai. Didi yamma, mama, 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 mama. Didi yamma, mama, didi yamma, mama. Didi yamma, mama, ya, ya, dai, dai, dai. Didi yamma, mama, didi yamma, mama. Didi yamma, mama, mama. L'chuna rana na la dayanoi Noriya letzo yishenu Nekabma famav Basayada Bismirois Noriya Loi Kiel Gadol Adonai Umelech Gadol Akol Elohim Asher B'yadonech Kirei Oretz V'tzayafas Harim Noi Asher L'hayom V'hu Asahu V'yabeshech Yadot Yatzaru Bo'in Nishtakabe V'nichra'a נפתחה לפני אדוני יוצא נקירה והנה והנחה אמר ויצא וצאן ידו היום בקודש תשמעו אל תקשילו לבבכם כמריבה כי המסע פעם מבא אשר ניסינה בסכם בחנוני גם ראו פעמי הבאים שנה akot beto. Va'oma amatoi levavheim, vehem lo yadu delachai, asher nishpati v'yapi, im yevayot, amanu chasi, shivu latoyenai, she'echadash, shivu latoyenai, kol ha'aretz, shivu latoyenai, baruch hu shemo, basru miyom leyom Yeshua soy, sapru vagoyim kavoydoi, b'chol ha'amim nifla ohisav, ki gadol Adonai, Olam bayot, nairahu, ala kol Elohim, lai ki kol Elohim, ha'amim elilim, v'Adonai shomayim osa, hoit v'hadal lefanav, oizer siferes b'mikdashon, havul Adonai, mishpachai samim, havul Adonai, kavod va'oz, havul Adonai, kavod shemoy, sayom mincha, uva'u lachatzroi sav, lai, mishtachavu l'Adonai, v'hadras kodesh, chinu miponov, kol ha'aretz, imu v'goyim Adonai malach, avtikon tevel, ba'al timot, yadim amim b'meisharim, yismachu hashomayim v'sagel ha'aretz, yeram hayam, omaloyoy, Ya'aloi Sadai, V'chol Hashem boy lai, as Yeranenu kolat seyoa, Nei Adonai kiva, Lishboi ta'aretz, Lishboi tevel betzedek, Lai, Ve'amim be'munasoi, lai, na Adonai malach, Tagel haaretz, Yismachu, Yemu Rabbi, Manam Ganafel Sifivav. Zetikum Mishpat Bachon Kisoy, Eislafanav Teilech, Uslahit, Saviv Tzarav, Hei Iru Vadakam Tevel, Ra'asav Tachela Aretz Halim, Kadoinaga, Namalsum, Lifnei Adon, Kola Aretz, Ikitu Hashamayim Sikoi, Ka'ukala Amin Kavaido, Ivashu Kol of the Faisel, Hamid Hanalim Ba'ilim, Ishtachavu no Kol Elohim, Shamavet Itzmach Ziyom, V'tagelna, B'nois Yehuda, Leman, Mishpatecha Adonai, Ki Atu Adonai Elyon, Al Kol Ha'aretz, Mi'od Na'leisa, Al Kol Elohim, Have Adonai, Sinura, Shomer, Nafshos Chasidav, Miyad, Rishayim Miyad Sineim, Zaru ala Tzadik, Only Yishveleim Simcha, Simchu Tzadikim Badonai, V'hoidu Lezecher Kodsho, Bismor Shiva Adonai Shechadosh Kinifta Sasach Shilo Yamino Zokachoy. Hodia Adonai Yeshu Asai, Lene Hagoin Kilasi Kasoi, Sakar Chastov, and Monosa, the Beit Israel. Ron Khalaf say, I taste tissue on Salahin, Hovilat Nakolots, Pitchman Sami with some of Nabikino, Bechino, the Gold Zimra, בחצות וקול שופר הוריעו לפני המלך אדוני ינם היום ומלואי תבל ויושבי בו נהר שמחה וחוף יחד עולים ילדינו לפני אדוני קימה לשמוע את הארץ ישפוט תבל בצדק ועמים במישרים אדוני מלך יגזו עמים יושב כלובים תנו את הארץ אדוני בציון גדול ולא מרוע כל אלוהים יודו שמך גדול ונורא קדוש הוא ויועץ מלך משפטיהם אתה כננת מישרים משפט וצדקה ביעקב אתה עשית למה מתנה עלינו והשתחוו להדיים רגליו קדוש הוא משה ויהרון בכל הנוף ושמואל בקוראי שמוי קוראים אל אדוני והוא יענם בעמוד ענן ידבר עליהם שמרו עדי סף וחיק נשא נמוי אדוני אלוהינו אתה אני שם הנושא היסה להם ונויקם על עלילוי שם רוממו אדוני אלוהינו והשתחוו לקודשו כי קדוש אדוני אלוהינו מזמור לדוד הבו לאדוני בני עינים הבו לאדוני כבוד ועוז
We can't hear you.
We can't hear you, Rabbi.
Can you make it louder?
Huh?
We can't hear it properly.
You can't hear me? Is that
That's better. You were too far from the microphone.
Rabim kol Adonai ba'koyach lai 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 kol Adonai be'hodo kol Adonai shover adozim vayishover Adonai esasei havanon vayakiten kamo yegel Lebanon, Vesilion, Kamo, Venreyenim, Lai, 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 Kol Adonai, Chohit Save Lahavosei, Kol Adonai, Yochim Mihiba, Yochil Adonai, Mihiba Kodesh, Yochel Adonai, Yecholel Yoloi, Vayechesov, Yeoros, Ovehechalo, Kulo Mekavoid, Lai, 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 Adonai, Lamahabu Yosha, Vayeshev Adonai, Melech Liolam Adonai, Oz Leamo Yiten, Adonai Yevarech Esamo Vashalom. We now go to the Chadodi. Lecha doidi lehikrat kalo Panei Shabbat mekabala ay 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 lecha doidi likras kalo Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah together. Shamo v'zachor b'dibor echad Ishmiyanu el hamayuchad Adonai yechad u'shmo yechad Shemo siferes v'nitz ilah lecha doidi likras kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Likras Shabbos L'chuva Hanelcha Kihimako Rocha Meilosh Mikadem Nasufa Chokma Aseb Machshavat Lo Lecha Doidi Likras Kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Chinchiki Mikdash Melech Imalucha Kumisayim Mitoicha Hafeicha Rav Loch Sheves B'Yemecha Bacha V'Hu Yachamol Alayichem Allah Lecha Doidi Likras Kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah He is Nari Meyafakoni Nishi Bigdei Sifal Techabi Alyat Ben Yishai Beis Halachmi Kova El Nafshi Ayala lecha doidi likras kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah He is Iremi Kiva Oire Kumi Ori Shida Behi Kavata Dohanai Lanai Yichniklo Lecha Doidi Likras Kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Change tune Lo sevo shiva lo sikami ma tishtochachi oma fehemi boho chechesu ani yami v'nifnesoi atila lai lechatoi di likras kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah lechatoi di likras kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah the Hayunim she saw Shai Sayit V'rachatut Kom Valayich Yosis Salayich Elohayich Kinsos Chasana Kalo Lai Lechadoiti Likras Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Kwiman Lechadoiti Likras Kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Lai Yom Imosmo Tiflo Hotzi V'yehes Adonai Haritzi Lai Yal Hadish Ben Pahati Vahanis Mecha V'nagila Lechadoiti Likras Kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Lechadoiti Likras Kala Hanei Shabbos Kabbalah Goli v'shalom Ateves b'hala Gam b'simcha u'v'tzohala Lai Tochemuhunei Amsedula Borichala Likras kala, Kanei Shabbos ne kabbalah, Lachadoidi likras kala, Kanei Shabbos ne kabbalah. Okay, I'm just going to do something extra. Let me think of something I can do. Let me think something very quickly. Let me do the Wali Adon Olam. For those people who haven't been to shul for some time, let's sing this together. Page 10. It goes like this. Let's have a look at this. Page 10, third paragraph down. I think this is the Wali. I could be wrong, but this is how it goes. Adon Olam, Hashem Olach. B'terem kol yitzid nifra, liyeh naso, v'chefzo kol, azai melech shamoy nikra, v'yacharei ki yichlos hakol, levado yimloch nora. V'hu haya, v'hu hove, v'hu yiyeh b'sifara, v'hu echad, v'yein sheni, lahameshilo lahachbira, v'lihi reishis, v'lihi sachlin, v'loi hos v'hamizra. V'hu eli v'chai go'ani v'tzochev li b'yetzara v'hu nisi u'monosli monoskosi b'yom mekra b'ya'ado avkid ruchi b'yezi sham ya'ira v'yimeruchi Kaviyasi Adonai li v'loi hiro. Now we go to Gigdal, page 12. Please join in with me at home, please, as we do this together. Yigdal Elohim Chai v'yishtabach nimtov yehinei sel metziuso echad v'yen yachid k'yichudo nelam v'gam ein sof liyachtuso ein lo demus hagov v'yehin ogov loy naharoi chelav kedushosoi kadmon l'chol davar Asher nivra, Mishom v'yein reishis l'reishiso, Hino Adon Olam l'chol notza, Yorek gdulaso u'malchuso, Shefa nevuasoi nesanoi, Halachei segulasoi v'sifadotoi, Lo yikom b'Yisrael k'moi she'ois. Navi u'mahabit Esther munosoi Torah emes nosan li amoel Adyat neviyon neman peisoi Lo yachav nifahel V'lo yamidasoi Liyo Elohim lezulasoi Sofeviyot deya sesorenu My bitless of Dava, Bekat Moso, Kamel Yish Chesed, Kamir Fanoi, no same the Rasha Rakarish Ishlach Leketz Yomin, Meshichenu, lift us Mechakeketz Yeshu also, Mesim Yachayel, V'lohov Chastoi, Baruch Hadeyat, Shem Tehillah together, Mesim Yachayel, Baruch Chastoi, Baruch Hadeyat, Shem Tehillah.
Shakaya!
Thank you, Rabbi.
Shalom,
Rabbi.
Thank you so much, Rabbi. Thank you very much, everyone.
Shabbat shalom.
Shalom, everybody.